All right, so to find the area of a trapezoid, first we need to do is we need to make sure we understand what the formula is. So the formula for the area of a trapezoid is that the area is equal to the height of the trapezoid times the base on the top added to the base on the bottom and then divided by 2. So when we look at this problem, we notice that our base on the bottom, x plus 31, that's going to be what B2 is. And then our base on the top, 3x minus 7, that's going to be our B1. And then our height, or our altitude, is going to be x. The only thing we need now is to know what the area is. And they tell us right here that the area is going to be 180. So we're just going to throw that information into the equation. So we're going to go 180 is equal to, we plug in the height, and in this problem, the height is x. So we have x times the quantity of the first base, which is 3x minus 7, plus the second base, which is x plus 31. And then all of that is going to be divided by 2. So we're going to put it underneath 2 right there. After you plug it in, you're just going to want to make sure you simplify it. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify the problem out. So the 180 is going to stay 180. And then I'm going to go ahead and collect like terms. So I'm going to go x times the quantity of 4x, 3x plus x. And then the negative 7 and the 31 comes out to 24. So plus 24 and divided by 2. Now, most people struggle with that divided by 2, so I would recommend multiplying by 2 at this stage just to get that to cancel out. But remember, if you're going to multiply the right side by 2, you need to multiply the left side by 2 as well to balance that equation that's happening right there. All right, so the 2's are going to cancel out, and this is going to result in 360 is equal to 4x, so I'm going to go ahead and distribute this right now, 4x squared plus 24x. At this stage, you can do the problem several ways. I'm going to set it equal to 0, so we're going to go 4x squared plus 24x is minus 360, minus 360 is equal to 0. And then I notice that a is a GCF, so I'm going to go ahead and divide everything by the a, which is the GCF in this problem, which is 4. And this is going to result in x squared. I'll write it over here. So we have x squared plus 6x minus 100, minus 90. Minus 90 is equal to 0. From this stage, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to solve the quadratic. So there's lots of different ways to solve the quadratic. I would encourage you to do completing the square because you notice that this guy right here in the middle can be cut in half, which means we want to get rid of the 90. If you want to use the quadratic formula, you can. Unfortunately, factoring does not work on this one, so we won't be factoring it. So we'll rewrite the problem. X squared plus the 6x is equal to 90. So we're adding it to both sides. Now, the two numbers that add up to 6 are going to be 3 plus 3. That would make it a perfect square. So we're going to end up adding 9, 3 times 3. We're going to end up adding 9 to both sides of the equation. We've gone over this in class. If you have more questions on it, please let me know. Now, the whole purpose of this is that it makes the left side a real nice square. So we have x plus 3 times x plus 3. Much easier to write it as x plus 3 squared. And then 90 plus 9 is 99. Solving it from here, we're going to square root both sides of the problem. So we square with the left side. That's going to eliminate the square. And we square with the right side, remembering to keep the plus and minus active. This is going to give us x plus 3 on the left, the cake side, equals positive, negative, square root of 99. Now, if you know that 99 is 3 squared times 11, that'll make things easier to simplify, which gives us positive negative 3 root 11, square root 11, and then we have x plus 3 equals that. And then we're at the very end of the problem. We just have to subtract the 3 from both sides, and this gives us two answers. Our first answer is x equals negative 3 plus 3 square root 11. So we have that as our first answer. And then we have our second answer, x equals negative 3 minus 3 square root 11. Now, the problem that a lot of you guys are encountering is that you're not omitting the answer that doesn't make sense. What I mean by that is theoretically, you've solved the problem, but you haven't verified that they actually work in the problem. What I mean by that is that in a geometric problem, the x cannot be negative. That is impossible. You can't have negative distances. So this number right here is not going to be allowed. And the reason I know it's negative is because this is a negative number and you're taking more away from it. that means this whole thing must be negative. So we know that that cannot work. X cannot be negative. But this one, this actually comes out to a positive value, and this is why the acceptable answer to this problem is going to be negative 3 plus 3 square root 11. This pretty much wraps up how we would solve this problem. I wanted to add two more things to this video just to make sure that people have the areas that they need. So this is the area of a trapezoid right there. But for the homework, you might need also the area of a quadrilateral or a parallelogram, area of parallelogram, okay, and the area of a triangle. Just a reminder, area of a triangle. All right. So the triangle, you're going to have your shape, and then you have something that kind of looks like that right there. That's your height, that's your base, and then the area is equal to the base times the height divided by 2. So that's the formula for the area of the triangle. Now the parallelogram, there's two types of parallelograms that you guys are going to encounter. One of them looks like the traditional parallelogram, and then you have your height and you have your base. And then you're also going to have this type of parallelogram, also known as the rectangle, which has your height and your base. And both of these have the same exact formula. The area is equal to the base times the height. Just make sure you use the correct formula and you exclude negative values. If you have any questions, hit me up on email. Other than that, I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend.